Not done talking about Bruce Springsteen right after this.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam-D. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. What I was talking to before we went to that break was about Bruce Springsteen, who was hit with, and this has been months before the Super Bowl happened. It wasn't known. Bruce didn't say anything to anybody about it, but apparently Bruce Springsteen was riding on his motorcycle. Okay. He was recognized by fans, and they asked him to pull over and stop, and he did. He was gracious enough to actually pull over and stop. These fans were out in the park. So Bruce Springsteen on the motorcycle pulls over into the park. And the whole time, this scene was being witnessed by police officers. So the fans are happy to see Bruce Springsteen. They can't believe they're seeing Bruce Springsteen riding through the park, I guess. And so they asked Bruce Springsteen to take pictures with him. They asked him to have a shot of tequila. Just one shot. And he did it. He probably should have told him no, but hindsight is 20/20. But I don't know. He was just trying to be nice, and taking one shot is it's not enough to make you impaired. So he took the one shot of tequila with the fans, with some Springsteen fans. And then he said, okay, I gotta go, fellas. And then he was on his way. And he was immediately pulled over by the police, who administered a breathalyzer, which he blew below the legal limit. He blew below the legal limit, but he was still arrested, because the cops seen him take a shot of tequila. I don't know where the cops were in relation to Springsteen when he was talking to these fans who wanted him to take a shot with them. I bet you those guys feel horrible now. You know, they see Bruce Springsteen, and then they ask him to take a shot of tequila with them. He does it gracefully, graciously. And then he gets in trouble because of it. They got Bruce Springsteen, the boss. They got the boss put in jail. But yeah, no, he was arrested. Springsteen was, after the cops seen him take a shot and then leave on his motorcycle. But I'm just saying, I'm not in favor of drunk driving. In no way am I saying that. I'm just saying that one shot is not enough to make you impaired. That is why he passed the breathalyzer, because it was one shot. Okay? And I don't know what Bruce Springsteen's tolerance level is, but I know if he's been drinking, the guy is like 70 years old or something. I don't know exactly how old he is. Let's ask Google. How old is Bruce Springsteen?
Bruce Springsteen is 71 years old.
there you have it. 71 years old, Bruce Springsteen. So I'm sure, seems like he's in pretty good shape, still riding a motorcycle around and doing concerts before the pandemic. So for a 71-year-old, he is, still doing very well physically. So anyway, Bruce Springsteen months ago had this incident where he took the shot of tequila with some fans in the park while he was recognized on his bike. And then once he pulled off, the cops not only gave him a breathalyzer, which he passed. He was well below the legal limit, as reported. He was arrested anyway and charged with reckless operation, which to me, I had to say this is screwed up. This ain't right. This is wrong. Okay. Yes, he took a shot, but one shot is no big deal. I'm not advocating drinking and driving. I'm just saying you take a shot of tequila and it probably didn't even affect him. He probably didn't know he was even affected by the alcohol. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe everybody else out there is thinking, yeah, well, Bruce Springsteen is wrong and he should have been that's nonsensical. Take one shot of tequila with some fans, and I don't recommend it. In fact, I discourage it. But he tested below the legal limit, so they should have just let him go on about his way, because one shot ain't gonna do anything. For most of you out there who drink alcohol, you know that one shot ain't gonna do it. Even if you're a small person, one shot is just one shot. You gotta drink more than one shot to be impaired. But maybe it's just me. All right, in the news, it was last week at some point, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not. But there was another pit bull attack where a 6-year-old kid was killed by a pit bull. Now I know that pit bulls are a very popular pet, a dog, but any of you who defend pit bulls and say, if you don't do this or don't do that, or if you treat it well, the pit bull will be fine, or my pit bull's never done this or never done that or never you're out of your mind. Okay, yes, maybe your pit bull might not ever attack any kid or person, period, adult, but pit bulls in general, not talking about each and every pit bull, I'm saying pit bulls in general are more likely to attack. There was a study on pit bulls that said, especially once they get old, that a pit bull gets confused in their minds. They got a short fuse. And they're more likely, they get scared of whatever's going on. Whatever a kid might be doing to them, they get nervous about it and they just attack them. But it's a dumb dog. And I'm not just saying pit bulls are dumb. I'm just saying dogs are stupid altogether. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have nothing against dogs. I'm not a pet person. I ain't never had an animal of any kind, and I would never have one because they're unclean. To me, if you pee on the floor or poop on the floor ever, even one time, or throw up on the floor, some people, I've heard all these stories, especially cats, about their throw up. My cat threw up last night, or threw up in my bed, or threw up, and I stepped in it, and blah 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 blah. Nasty, disgusting. But that's just me. I know. Our society is a society, of pets, and but these pit bulls are vicious and they're dangerous. And you might go, your whole time with a pit bull as a pet, and nothing happens. But for me, it's not worth it if one child. I'm not saying they should ban pit bulls. I'm just saying you people have to be smart enough to know. Keep your kids away from these pit bulls, especially a dog that's old. If the dog's been around for a long time, the older the pit bull gets, the more likely he is to attack, to feel threatened. And little kids are playing with these dogs and, get their hands on the dog and hugging them and, playing with them, shoving their faces and all kind of stuff, because the dog never done it, attacked them before. But now, all out of the blue, the dog gets nervous and just attacks. I'm just telling you, we're making a huge mistake, in my opinion, by not acknowledging for the, I've heard a lot of arguments with people talking about pit bulls and how great they are, and it's not a misunderstanding. A pit bull attacked a kid and killed it. Kid wasn't doing nothing to the dog, was going to pet the dog, and the dog lost it and killed it. 6-year-old kid. So I'm not a fan of pit bulls, definitely not pit bulls, and I'm not a fan of any dog. To me, any dog could do that. I go every week to pick up my daughter whenever I let her spend the night at her mother's house, and every single time I go over to her house, the dog is standing in the door barking like he's ready to bite my head off. And I just think it's an accident waiting to happen. But I'm not going to just freak out and cry. If a dog attacks me, I'm going to attack it back. I carry a knife at all times, and if I didn't have a knife, I'd poke its eyes out if it attacked me. So it's not anything I want, because I'm still going to be bleeding and probably have to go to the emergency room and get a tetanus shot and all of this. But that was a story in the news not too long ago, that a 6-year-old kid was killed by a pit bull. And I said, oh no, as soon as I heard about it, not another one. We hear these stories about sharks, or we used to hear these stories about sharks biting people, but yet still, you'd always have some nerdy scientists on there saying, oh, sharks, they don't want to eat people. They thought that person was a sea turtle, and that's why they attacked them. I'd be like, what? So what? Who cares if a shark thinks you're a sea turtle? You're not a sea turtle. And who cares why a pit bull attacks a 6-year-old? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the deal is or what to do about it, really. All I know is we can't allow our children to be murdered by pit bulls. And the owner of the dog is in denial, saying this dog is totally fine. It's a safe dog to be around. I don't understand what happened. I understand what happened. We're keeping wild animals as pets until they can't take it.